Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Phoebe Talks. This one is definitely a little bit more, not on the nose. No, not on the nose is not the right word. Off the cuff. This is a bit off the cuff. I've been planning to do one of these. I think I am definitely due to do one because it's been at least a couple months since the last one, and I want to kind of make it a regular thing throughout the year. I don't actually remember what I said in the last one. It was kind of, again, it was I had like talking notes. This time I've got no talking notes. I just like sit down and I'd see what I could do. But the main reason I want to do this one is today is Thursday the 7th of September, and I will be moving out in a week's time from today. I move out on the 14th. I move in to student accommodation. I have my place at university, and I'm kind of bricking it. And I think that's kind of the reason I want to make this video, to kind of talk out loud about some changes that I'm probably going to have to make to accommodate me moving out. Because, well, for starters, I'll be moving into a flat. I'll be moving into an apartment building, I guess. I don't know what you call block of flats in the UK. I don't know. And there is I get I get very self-conscious when recording, and I have to have like desired thing, nobody in the house, just me and the dog sat, and I'll play my games and I'll do my thing. So I'm very conscious about that. One of the things I'm kind of happy though is the room that my computer is in is kind of like my room, my flat is like why am I so bad at explaining things? The room that my computer is going to be going in, or my recording equipment is going to be going in, is like a separate room. It's almost like a separate room for the rest of it. It's like almost like a booth that'll have like a desk, and I'll put my computer in there, and which I'm a little bit more happy with than just having like open space for the noise to bounce around. But obviously I don't know how sound's going to travel above and below, and I'm worried that if someone hears me going like, "Hello everybody, my name is Phoebus," they're gonna go like, "Ooh, she's a bit cringe," which it's probably not gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but it is definitely a concern of mine in which that could happen, and I could be made fun of for that, which is annoying because this is something I love doing. I love making videos, I love making content, but it does make me worried about what people think about it. So I don't really tell people about it, other than like my mates that I had do the art for my channel. The only people I've ever talked about it with, like my sister and stuff like that. So I think that is definitely something I'm going to need to do, because at this moment in time I'm trying to churn out as much content as I can before going away, so that when I'm away I can just post a couple of videos like that I've recorded while I was still at home in like a more comfortable environment. I think that's one thing I think will be really useful, is to kind of stockpile content, as I think until I'm more comfortable with recording recording away and recording out at home and having to deal with other people who might hear me, I think that's just going to have to be something I'm going to have to learn to deal with, because there are probably people in YouTube that have to record with like roommates hearing them, or with like people in their building hearing them, and I'm sure that is something I can overcome, but at the moment it is kind of just a concern of how I'm going to continue doing this, because I would like to do both. I want to do university, and I want to do YouTube. I want to make YouTube work. I want to have it all. I want to have my cake and my eat it too, and if I'm making the fucking cake, I sure as hell should get a piece. But yeah, so on the topic of content change, because I was going to bring that up and then I accidentally went on a rant, but that's fine. These videos are always a bit all over the place. I will probably be changing my uploading schedule. It's either going to be Mondays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays, as a way to kind of spread content out more the week, or maybe like Wednesdays and Fridays. But there will now it'll probably be 2 days a week, so that any pre-recorded content that I have can kind of be spread out a little bit more and it gives me a chance to like catch up and be ready. As you noticed, there wasn't a My Friendly Neighborhood episode this week. That was for no reason other than my own poor organization, that I just kind of I lost track of time and didn't get it up on time, and I kind of just let it fall through. So that will just go up next Monday. But I probably will try and finish My Friendly Neighborhood. I will probably try and finish My Friendly Neighborhood before I go away, just so I can kind of say, like, that's something that can be a bit more regular. So maybe posting like that once a week, and then like other random games once a week. I've got plenty of games I can be playing to be uploading. I think I will definitely try and record as much as Backbone as I humanly can before going away, so that's something I can post. I think it just depends how much content I post, how much content I can record in the run-up to me going, because I don't want to be using my last week to just like record. I don't want to be just recording the entire time, because I have to pack, I have to make lists, I have to clean, I have to decide what books I take, what toys I take, what clothes I take, and I can't just be recording content 24/7, 365. That's not a feasible, I guess you could say, reliable business method? No, I don't like business method. It's not reliable for me to be doing. I need to be doing other things. So what I don't want to do is get so focused on recording content that I have enough to last me until I come home for Christmas, which, to be fair, is pretty early. I don't want to be doing that, so I might record enough content to last me like half of the term. I don't get half terms anymore. I am there, I go in September, and then I come back at Christmas, then I go back, and then I get, I think I get a month, no, not a month, like a couple of weeks at Easter, and then I go back, and then I come back home again, and it's just a lot, I think, to think about. I don't want, like, my entire times back home to be, like, just recording content so I have enough to last me when I get back to uni, stretch out over the time that I'm away. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about as well. Because I was considering not taking the computer with me. I have two computers. I have my old one that I did a lot of my first videos on. The only thing that I can remember roughly up to when I was recording on that computer it was just before Universe was sale, actually, when I recorded the demo of that, which I don't think has come out yet. But that was the last thing I did on the old computer, and it's not great. I think it would do to like make videos on, but it's loud as shit. But no, I was considering not taking the computer, but I think I'm going to, because so much of my stuff and what I love is on here. And I've had a lot of people tell me, like, don't take your computer, don't take your consoles, because you'll just be distracted. I don't think I could cope with not having, like, a little bit of a distraction. I know I can work, but this is the thing, my computer has, like, all of my games on it, and I think it just is such a source of comfort that I couldn't not take, like, my consoles or my computer with me. Like, I'd have to take them with. And I'm in a good enough position that my university isn't too far from where I live, so I think I could reasonably, like, if I decided not to take it and I decided to take it, it wouldn't be a problem. I could completely, like, get by that fine. So it will be coming with me, so I'm gonna get myself to make content. Hey there again, it's Phoebus again, and so I recorded that yesterday, and now it's today, and I just wanted to go through some of the notes I made and some of the things that I said to kind of, like, flesh out what I spoke about. And I mentioned about how I'll be moving into an apartment. I don't know if I ever said that or not. I actually didn't make note of that. I've never actually lived in, like, an apartment building before. I've only ever, like, lived in houses throughout, like, most of my life. I've just lived in houses. I think which is why I was kind of concerned about the chain, because I don't really know I think mainly what like the protocol is when like living in an apartment building. That's just something that I'm gonna have to learn and is gonna be new to me, but I'm sure I will completely get around it. But that was just kind of flesh out that more. And I talked about like trying to churn out content before I leave, and I made a comment how I can't just be recording content all the time. And I, for some reason, said 24/7, 365. That made it sound like I can't just be making stuff all year round. What that means is in the week run up to me going, I can't be just recording stuff all the time because I've got stuff to do. I mean, I've only just started like rationalizing what books I can take with me and how many like books can be, because I've divided it into like categories where it's like books I'm in the middle of reading, books that I've read, and books that I find comforting are kind of like the three criteria for me to take them with me. And I was like, that's just gonna end up being all of your books. And you're gonna have to like whittle it down a little bit. You cannot take all of your books with you because there is just not room for that. But that's what I meant by that. Because obviously there's stuff to do. I will also try. My goal is to finish. I think I mentioned this briefly, to try and finish, at least record up to every series that I have. So I want to finish My Friendly Neighborhood. I kind of have some rough notes on how to get, and I know this is kind of cheating, but how to get the outcome that I want to see in the end of the game, and then I might at some point later on go back and be like, oh, this is what I missed if I had done the other endings. I also want to try and finish Backbone before I go. I also started a game called Death and Taxes, which I only did a video of. It was meant to be like a one-off, but it ended up being a very long game. So I'll need to finish that. I also want to finish... Oh god, what's it called? Abyss. Abscess. I want to finish Abscess, which was that little, RPG game that I played as like a one-off on a Monday. I don't know if I'm going to finish that game. I kind of want to make, a theory game on the game. A theory game on the game, what the fuck? A theory video on the game and like discussing what it's about and stuff like that instead of me playing it, because I feel like it's such, from what I've seen of it, like the content around it, it is such a cool concept for a game that I don't think me sitting there and blabbering on about like getting lost all the time is a good way to show what that game's capable of. So I think I might be doing a theory video on that at some point. And I also am working on the Welcome Home theory video, which I started doing research and then, I'll be truthful, got a bit sidetracked. I still want to make it. I know there's been like going-ons in this feels very weird to be talking about, but in like the fandom of Welcome Home, which someone did ask me, like, are you still gonna do the video with XYZ? And I was like, well, first of all, I had no idea that shit was happening. Second of all, I'm still gonna make it because I just enjoy Welcome Home for what it is. So that still will be happening. I'm probably gonna be making a lot of Phoebus Talks content for like when I'm at uni. I feel like that's something that's gonna be really good to make as a kind of like an outlet for what I'm going to be up to and stuff like that. I also mentioned this previously, that I was like not wanting to churn out like all this content while I'm at home that will last me until until Christmas break. But I did the maths, and if I uploaded twice weekly until I break up for Christmas, that would get me, I'd have to make 26 videos. I'd have to make about 4 videos a day to do that, and I'm not gonna do that. I've got a bunch of games that I want to play that are like short games, so I'll probably play those, and like I'm not gonna like edit any of them now. I might edit a couple so I can like schedule them and have them be ready to go in the run up, but I'm definitely not gonna be like furiously editing. But the main reason I'm doing this is because I want to kind of have a more like regular start. So like in the UK, I don't know how American, like, I don't know how uni in any other country functions. I only really know how it works here. But in the UK, you have Freshers Week, which is a week before classes, where you meet your new peers and you see what you like, you see who's in your course, you see who's going to be living on your floor, who's going to be in the room below you, that kind of thing. And you do that, and then you start your classes a week later. So I'm moving out like 10 days, I'm moving in 10 days before classes actually start to do all this freshers stuff. And yeah, and I want to, so sorry, I had a reason, there was a reason I was talking about freshers and I'd forgotten, but I've remembered. The reason I'm doing all this is so I can kind of do freshers in like my first couple of weeks of uni without having to think too much about like what I'm going to record that week. So I just have to sit there and edit for an hour, and it's up and it's ready to go, and it's all fine. But yeah, that was kind of just a little addition to what I'd spoken about yesterday. I couldn't think of anything else to talk about. I talked about a lot of old tech, and on the topic of taking things like computers and games to uni. If you're someone who's starting uni in the next week or so, and you're unsure about taking them, like, if you know I think people often say, like, just don't take it. And I'm like, well, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on, like, how well disciplined you are with that kind of thing. Like, can you be trusted? Not trusted. Can you trust yourself that you're gonna actually, like, do your assignments? And not just sit around and game all day. But I think it's also important to be like, how far do you live from home? Like, where's your like childhood bedroom and where's your uni flat? Because if you're like, I think 3 hours plus away from home in the car, let's say, because it's different for all different modes of transport. If you're like really far, I think you should just take them, because I think I said this in the first recording. I'm in a position where I'm not too far from where I live compared to where I'm going to uni. No, that doesn't make any sense. My family home is close to where I'm living for university. So if I needed something, I could go get it. But I know everyone's not in that position. So I think you really do just need to decide for yourself, like, do I want to take this with me? Can I feasibly take it home, like, with me at the end of the year? What do I do about this? What do I do about that? I think you just need to take it on, like, what is, like, can you be trusted? I don't like saying can you be trusted. I sound like a parent. Can you trust yourself to take it with you and use it during your free time? And if you needed it later on, and if you say you didn't take it and you needed it later on, for whatever reason, how easy would it be for you to take it home, to get it from home, and like to take it home? Because I know for a fact that I'll be taking all my kit home. And I remember I was speaking to one of my parents, and they were like, well, how are you going to get it on the train? And they were almost like, well, give them a lift, man, come on. Which I was quite pleased about, because I was thinking I was going to have to do like 2 trips with like all of my stuff, and then another trip with like all of my tech and stuff like that, which I think would just end up being a trip. Like, I would go back with all of my usual things, and then I'd go back the next weekend with like all of my tech and stuff like that, because I was stuck between in a bit of a difficult position in terms of coming and going from uni. I hear a lot of people talking about going home when you're at uni, and I know some people that like didn't even go home for holidays, and I knew some people that was home every weekend. And for me, I think having close proximity to home compared to where I'm living for uni, it is going to be such a like tempting factor for like me to like just go home. And my goal is basically just to get through like the first term, if that makes sense, to just like try and come home as little as possible, because the problem is like a lot of my family are like have birthdays and events in like September to December, and I know I'm going to be missing out on stuff. But I think it's just because, and this is the thing that I've come to realize, is that if I move out, depending where I move out to, I could end up missing out on a lot of family events because I just don't live there anymore, and I can't be making trips back just for any little thing. So I have a brother that lives in Scotland, and I I don't know when we were talking about this, but I was kind of just speaking to him. He was like, oh, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing you here and then. And in my head, I was like, well, there are things in between, but like, you can't just travel down from Scotland when you please. He has a life. He doesn't live at home anymore. And depending on how the housing crisis goes, I might not be living at home anymore. If I could be lucky enough to immediately move out, that'd be great. But I kind of am now just coming to the realization that I will not be doing all the family things anymore because I won't be living in the area, because I could be living somewhere completely different. I could be living in another country by the time all of this, like, by the time I don't say like I'm a grown up, because I'm not like you're a grown up now, and I'm like, no, I am a 15-year-old masquerading as someone who is capable of going to university. That is not a grown up. I don't feel like a grown up yet, but I think that is what growing up is meant to feel like, is not knowing what you're doing and like moving on and building your own life with what you know, because I know it's gonna kill me, but I've kind of come to the realization that based on the way that like housing is for young people, unless it like fixes itself in the next 3-4-ish years, there is a very good chance that I will do uni and I will come straight home, that I won't like, I don't want to say I won't have the privilege of moving out straight away, but it's going to be difficult moving back home because I will have known what it was like to live not at home, and I feel like what's going to happen is I'm going to get like a taste for freedom, and I'm just gonna hate moving back home, and I really don't want to, because I know that I'm privileged to have a home to move back to, if that makes sense. Because I know some people that are like worried about moving out in case it goes wrong, or they like lose their flat and they can't pay their rent and their parents have gone, well, you're on your own now, which in my opinion, as someone who's never had children, never raised them, I think that's unnecessarily cruel. But like, I don't really have a leg to stand on other than I think it's mean, and I've got parents that are willing to let me move back home if things go tits up. But yeah, this went in a completely different direction than I was expecting it to. I've covered all my notes, which is a little bit different. I'll have talking videos like this prepared, and then I'll say a bunch of things, and I'll be like, I did not cover a single thing I intended to. But I think it might be good to kind of wrap this up, to kind of give it a conclusion of sorts. I think it's just kind of, moving out is scary, growing up is scary. 99% sure I made the same conclusion in my last video, but that it's gonna be alright and you'll figure things out in the end. And who knows, maybe the next time I do one of these, I'll be eating my words, or I'll be so pleased with everything that's going on in my life will be so perfect that I won't need to even consider what I was doing. It's just that everything's going fine then in the moment. But I hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble on about my thoughts and feelings and whatnot. I've drawn a complete blank. If you are feeling like you want to share your thoughts and feelings, maybe you should do your own talk series. Whether you have a YouTube channel or not, you can do it live, you can do it on a private story with you and your pet dog. But doing these talking videos and like having them build up, I think is good as a kind of outlet when you feel you don't want to talk about your problems with another person, you just kind of want to talk about them with yourself and technically anyone with a mobile phone and a Wi-Fi connection. So, take care of yourselves, like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.